We are live for Beyond the Buzzer, and for the first episode of March 11th, 2000. It's actually second episode of March 11th, 2021. I'm your host Dane Thompson, checking with you tonight live here on Zingo TV, I-95 Sports Network, Blackjack TV, YouTube, Facebook Live, and anywhere you sound of my voice for the next hour and a half or so. Myself and my main man in front of me, the student of the game, and also my three-point conversion colleague, the student of the game, Mr. Kyle Nash.
Brother, listen. 9 work days straight, 9 press conferences for the various coaches hired by Gus Malzahn at UCF. What a fun time.
Hey, listen, we both cover content for the threepointconversion.com. Also, check out good friends at Valor. And the website is itsvalur.us for all things marketing, as well as gifts and music.
Gifts.
Yes. And if you also try to get your music played at the UFC, go see them as well, too.
Yes,
all right. Big shout out to good friend Bobby Blackjack, the super producer up in New Jersey. Bobby, how you doing, my friend?
I'm pretty good. What do you guys think of Coming to America?
I haven't gotten in front of it yet. I will, but we're already aware of my skepticism and my cynicism towards the movie. Yes.
Well, we'll discuss that, or we'll discuss that on next week's show. So hopefully, Kyle is seated by then.
I will see too that that's the case, sir.
So, are we still pro Godzilla? You have 2 weeks to go. 3 weeks.
I mean, of course, it's a nuclear lizard versus a monkey. Shut up.
Commercials are pointing towards King Kong winning.
But they got to make it look close. Listen, even the billing for the Charlotte Pistons game tried to make it look close. Nobody knew that the Bobcats would be awful.
Listen, we will not. There's no Bobcat slander on this show tonight. All right, we'll not do this. And Bobby, before we get started, I know tonight I think it was Briggsy's memorial service night. Was that correct?
That's correct.
So, I mean, before we started the show, Briggsy was a big part of the I-95 Sports Network. And Bobby, once again, for those who have not tuned in before, who don't know how important Briggsy was to this, where we are now, platform is yours to explain the significance of what Briggsy meant to everybody here and just, and to the network in general. Go ahead, my friend.
Thank you for that. Well, like I said, he was one of the first people when I had this idea of doing something bigger than, say, just having a show or a podcast, and wanted to start to put the piece together for a sports network. He was one of the first to love the idea and get behind it and support it. We met through a mutual friend, and we became fast friends after that. We had a lot in common between music and sports and whatnot. And like I said, unfortunately, he had a massive heart attack, and he's no longer with us on Earth, but he's definitely up there. Like I said, my dad is the chief heavily officer, and Mike's right below him with that. And I was kind of grinning today because they had all the pictures up at the memorial, and I wasn't in any of the pictures, but yet I was behind the scenes in like a third of them. They're all from his past shows. When you see him and Kurt with the microphone, or him, Nick, or Kurt, and I'm not in the picture, but I'm there because I'm behind the scenes. So.
It wouldn't be right not to start the show tonight without honoring Briggsy in the very beginning. So like I said, I never had a chance to meet him in the very throughout the time, but like I said, through yourself and Kurt, I've heard so much about him over the years. So it's great to it's not good to see anybody pass away, of course not, but it's great to be able to honor somebody, like I said, who is a pinnacle part of where we are today. So
absolutely, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, come on, Bobby, we're all family at this point now. All right. Speaking of things that are family, let's start with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys, because they're family for the next 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, no matter how much Jerry Jones doesn't want this contract or how Jerry Jones perceived this contract, what we know, Kyle, is Jerry Jones lost. All right. In the power struggle that is Dak Prescott, I don't want to pay him this type of money. Dak Prescott, $160 million. Jerry Jones, $0. All right. Dak Prescott signed I think this contract is probably the richest contract for a short term in the history of the NFL. I want to say is, Kyle, 4 years at $164 million, with $125 million of that money guaranteed, with a $66 million signing bonus.
But yeah, let's be clear. You keep mentioning that 160. The real impressive thing, and you mentioned it's 129 that's guaranteed. I forget the number, but
like 125, I think it is. It's
Yeah.
still almost 130 million guaranteed.
But the punchline is per year he is making Patrick Mahomes money. There's no question. You could say that Jerry lost if you'd like. Might even heard comments saying about how people are laughing that Dak was crazy to ask for the money. And well, he got it. But I'll tell you, friends, it's only a matter of time before he's Russell Wilson light and having to save the world and can't.
And that's the part about it. Let's say Dak betted on himself and he won. When people thought that he was crazy to go against Jerry Jones of what Jerry Jones has done over the years, but one thing Jerry Jones has done is if he wants to keep you, he will pay you. It's been pretty much well apparent.
Sure.
In the game of chicken, Dak Prescott won this game of chicken. What he also won was a no trade clause. He won $125 million guaranteed, which is the most in the NFL, even more guaranteed money than Patrick Mahomes II.
Correct.
He has more guaranteed money than anybody else. And the thing is, with that $66 million signing bonus, the cap number isn't that bad for Prescott. It's not. I mean, because he got half the money up front.
Right.
I mean,
how else could they have managed it, right? And the part that I don't think people are accounting for is what's going to happen to the salary cap in the coming years. That's still a big damn question mark.
Well, word of the street is the salary cap's about to go boo. It's about to go. It's about to blow up next offseason. So a Dak Prescott deal might not be as big as make it out to be. And if you think about it, if it is only $66 million that's coming up front, and that number is kind of spread out over the next couple of years, it's not so bad. The other part is as far as guaranteed money goes, there's only one player in the history of the NFL that got more guaranteed money on the signing bonus front than one Dak Prescott, and that's one Matt Ryan. At signing. Matt Ryan got more money at signing than any other player in the history of the NFL. Dak Prescott second. And that's why the Falcons, the real thing with Matt Ryan and the Falcons is that it's a cap hit. It's not what he makes per year. It's the cap hit by getting rid of him.
Right.
That's why the Falcons can't trade Matt Ryan for another year or two. It's not because of how much money he makes. It's what that cap number looks like. Sorry, Eagles fans. It's not what Carson Wentz was making. It's what Carson Wentz's cap number was. That's going to be destroyed for the next 12 months of the season. So
y'all are harsh.
Well, Kyle, here's the thing. Now, when we look at quarterbacks around the league, or look how teams are built nowadays, this becomes the underlining question. You mentioned before is Dak Prescott might be like Russell Wilson and have to basically save the franchise because of how much money they're putting on him towards the cap. Right. Unlike sports like basketball, there's only like 15 players in the basketball team, or even baseball where it's like a 25-man roster, or even the NHL. When one player dominates the cap with a 53-man roster and 24 of those guys are starting, it is difficult to win. Look at the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. Okay. Before the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was on his rookie contract.
Right.
Okay. Look at some of the top quarterbacks, highest paid quarterbacks in the league, Pittsburgh. And that's because Roethlisberger's at the end of his deal before they restructured. You look at guys like Matthew Stafford.
Matt Ryan
now, because the Falcons, Matt Ryan didn't really, he had that 1 year, and I think that was before he signed the contract. But Russell Wilson, you look at, I think I'm missing a highest paid quarterback somewhere in this list. Maybe Kyle, you can help me in this one. But if you look at the quarterbacks,
you got a lot of the big ones. I mean, we'll call it what it is. I mean, even Garoppolo's number, while it's $100 million and all that other stuff, you don't have guaranteed money quite like this.
But what I'm saying is, what the cap number for quarterbacks is, if you spend a lot of money on a quarterback, it's very difficult to build a team around them. The Cowboys have a problem, and the defense has been a major issue. But Kyle, if you look at all the guaranteed money that they're paying for 4 players on offense, Zach Martin, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, and now Dak Prescott, that number is insane.
Yeah.
And that's all guaranteed money and cap hit numbers.
Here's the good news, though, right? They have CeeDee Lamb and Joey Gallup, like, what's that?
Michael Gallup.
Michael Gallup. Thank you. I said Joey. Michael Gallup. So you can solve for the starting receiver core that way. They're still on their rookie deals and will be for a couple more years. I would think Amari Cooper is off the team by the time it's time to pay the two of them. The offensive line is going to be problematic. That's the remaining spot on the list. And what you're hoping for is the one good thing. Here's what I'll say that makes this deal the way they're doing it possibly smart and somewhat feasible. Listen, it wouldn't be the first time that the Cowboys abandoned defense. Hell, Janoris Jenkins just got released today, if I saw correctly on the wire there. But
he did.
The one thing they got going for them is their division. Okay. They're in a division where they can win and keep confidence in the team high and use that confidence to get whatever it is they need to get in the door to replace some of these pieces, right? If they get a big name that's a cap casualty, they can get a young up-and-comer who wouldn't be worth quite as much. And there's a team that did something just like that we'll get to later, I'm sure, that could kind of be a good shifting of the gears to keep them moving forward. Now, the one problem, and I'm going to pin this all on one dude. The one problem now that exists in the NFC East is if Dak Prescott truly has the biggest problem with his offensive line. You know, the player in question is ironically named because the one player in that division that's going to age Dak Prescott, you're smiling, you already got the clue. That's going to age Dak Prescott is one Chase Young. If they cannot account for him, you better bet that ass that the NFC East is going to be competitive for that reason alone. And hey, I know they got rid of Alex Smith. There's a certain young man that lit it up. What's his name? Heineken? What? I don't know.
Meineke, Carwenzel. Yes, I get you.
Don't put a muffler on this, though, ladies and gentlemen. That dude made some noise in a playoff game playing against the now Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hi, Precious.
So. Yeah, if you're also in the chat as well, too, stop by and say how like Precious has as well. That never gets Kyrie never gets old doing that.
No, it doesn't.
But if you're right, you make the good point about the Washington Redskins, and they're the only team in the division to me at this point that can make a change at quarterback, and it could affect the rest of the division. And what I mean by that is when you look at how the team is shaped and the division is shaped, Philadelphia is kind of in a rebuilding situation. Okay.
Yeah.
And the real determining factor of how they're going to build this club is what they do with that 6th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you ask draft experts, it's down to Jamar Chase or even Devontae Smith. But the player that's the sleeper pick at this spot 6 could be Florida tight end, hybrid, whatever you want to call him, Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I mean, you put Kyle Pitts, who can play the slot, who can play maybe a little bit of wide out, in kind of the same way they use Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert together. What's the tight end's best friend? What's quarterback's best friend? Tight end.
Tight end for check down. But see, Zach Ertz is getting to be 157,000 years old. How long is a combination like that going to keep working?
Well, guess what? Zach Ertz ain't going to be there when the season starts either. Zach Ertz might not make it to Easter. I
wanted you to say it so the Philly fans were mad at you. Let me be clear about that.
That's fine because it's a well-known secret. It's not even a well-known secret. It's about as much a secret as the Colonel's Herbs and Spices recipe with Mario Lopez is a secret. Okay,
stop it.
It is to the point where Zach Ertz won't be on this roster next year. The Eagles are in complete overhaul, and I'm surprised they re-signed Jason Kelce on the offensive line. By the way, that really did surprise me. They're bringing him back. I know they need bodies on the offensive line, but Kelce's been through the war. It's surprising that they're bringing him back into the fold. What I say is that they're going to have to try to build around Jalen Hurts, and this is really Jalen Hurts' first year. The Giants, they're only going to go as far as Saquon Barkley takes them when he gets healthy. Okay?
Yeah.
If Barkley's not healthy, the Giants aren't winning.
Tell me how Daniel Jones is any different than Teddy Bridgewater in their respective situations, right?
I will say it like this. Daniel Jones can actually make the throws down the field.
Ooh, sizzling burn on the Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater is a game manager.
I'm not here to tell you wrong. I'm just saying that was a harsh truth you just dealt out, partner.
It is what it is. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is a guy that can get you the 10 to 15-yard routes. He can throw those routes. But if you need him to throw the ball deep downfield or you need him to lead you to a fourth-quarter drive, he's not the guy that's going to do it. All right? At least with Daniel Jones, because he has that ability to move his body and move in and out the pocket, he does have a second dimension to him. I'm not saying it's the same as Jalen Hurts because it's not even close, or it's not even. I mean, he has that ability to move, so you have to watch his feet as well too. So his feet can make extra plays. But in a division where the Giants, they don't know Evan Ingram's situation. I don't think Evan's even coming back if they bring him back. They don't have that breakaway threat at wide receiver. They haven't used the capital to go get one. So there is a wide open division. You're right. Chase Young is sitting there waiting. The Redskins have a top 7 defense, if not even top 5 in the entire league. They're one quarterback away from literally wrecking shop in the division for years. And Kyle, be surprised. I'm surprised that Russell Carrington Wilson did not put the Washington football team, even with Ron Rivera and everything they're doing, on his list of 4 teams he wanted to go to.
Oh, well, no. See, and I know why he didn't. Is he's not just going to land anywhere that has a roughshod offensive line, which the offensive line situation in with the Red Tails is certainly not ideal.
Okay. It makes a lot. I say it's surprising with a ready-made defense ready to win, and arguably the worst division in football. If Russell Wilson came in right now to that division, Washington's automatically. I tag Washington with 11 wins. If he went to if him or Deshaun Watson go to that division right now, Washington has 11 wins, and they're probably win the division by 2 games minimum.
Fair. Well, in Watson's case, hell, the Washington Redskins line may be a marked improvement.
Well, yeah, but the only difference between Wilson and Watson in that situation is Watson doesn't mind getting out of the pocket. Russell's tired of trying to get out of the pocket. There's a difference.
Tired.
Basically. Other things going around the NFL this week, Kyle. This is the franchise week.
Yes.
So, guys, for those who don't know how it works, Marty Jones, the chat, Teddy, Jones, Hurts is overrated. Listen, Jalen Hurts ain't costing the Eagles what Carson Wentz was costing him.
Right.
And
right.
Jalen Hurts puts the same production up as Carson Wentz. All right.
You know, that's an interesting point. It won't happen, but if Teddy B ended up with the Red Tails, that's not a terrible look. I mean,
they're 7-9. No,
Teddy B, wait. In the NFC least, you think they go 7-9 with Teddy B?
Because here's the thing: because Teddy Bridgewater played in the division last year, the NFC South. Okay, the Saints defense was not impeccable. Okay, they weren't as good as they have been in years. All right, this might have been the worst Saints defense they had in the last 6 or 7 years. Their defense has always been really good. Okay,
well, let's not go with this always-ish.
They've been very consistent.
Of late, the Saints defense has been pretty good.
The last 4 or 5 years, the defense has really done a lot. They don't get as much
last
credit.
2 or 3 years, they've been worth my time. Yes, I think you're being a touch generous. But then I'm told I'm more of a harsh critic. So hey, that fits out, my brother.
Guess what? The Pistons lose. Yes, go Hornets. Hornets are 500 now. All right.
Good. You beat the 8th grader. I'm proud of you.
Listen.
Sorry, dude. I'm just taking shots because it's you, man. My bad.
Listen. Yes, Haskins, Allen. The difference is Teddy Bridgewater doesn't win games. I'm going to tell you this right now. Ask Carolina Kitten fans what Teddy Bridgewater does in the 4th quarter.
I mean, It's difficult to say he doesn't win games when he was 11-5 as a starter starting out and then took over for Drew Brees pretty nicely in your defense with a pretty good set of roster support. I'm not saying that wasn't there.
And you also have to realize he had a running game that was there, and the offense was tailor-made, Kyle, for any quarterback to work going in for a few weeks and win. The object for the Saints was to give the ball to Alvin Kamara, move out the way. Okay? Was give Kamara the ball, move out the way, and Teddy don't make any mistakes. If you have to have Teddy Bridgewater win games in the 4th quarter, that is a problem. All right? That's the issue I have with Teddy Bridgewater. I better not be Charles, and I look better than Shaq. So, all right.
You trying to call me Shaq? I will gladly accept the Barkley mantle. I am Charles. That's what's up. I'm the voice of damn reason up in this beast. Recognize it.
I don't know. Exactly.
I am not Shaq. I am not Shaq and a fool up in this beast. You better even try.
Bobby, could you go down? There's one comment I want you to post before you post the next one. There's one in particular that kind of explains exactly what I think of Teddy Bridgewater. I didn't say it. We'll take it from somebody who's a Carolina Kittens fan who will tell you the same thing. Bobby, display, please. Thank you.
Oh, geez, you got the intellectuals up here.
No, but
Whatever.
but you know what though? He's a Carolina Panthers fan at heart. So coming from a Panthers fan, this is telling you something. If Teddy Bridgewater's quarterback the Washington Redskins, fourth quarter comebacks won't happen.
Well,
so
I don't think that's fair. If they happen, it'd be in the hands of somebody else, perhaps. Like the defense would make a big stop.
You're asking Chase Young to score touchdowns here. Okay, that's
what for JJ Watt, Mamma Jamma.
Listen, but they had there's not a running game in Washington to make I'm sorry, I've been saying the Redskins the entire show. The Washington
yes, you have. Team. You mean the Red Tails?
The nameless team.
I'm Draymond.
Hey, Kyle does a little bit of everything.
I'll kick you right in the crotch. Yeah.
And don't get a technical foul for it. All right. So what I mean by that is like he's not winning you games in the fourth quarter. In a division where the Giants actually have a solid defense, the Eagles actually have a pretty good front four, and we all know that Dallas, when they're actually playing defense, isn't too bad. Yeah. Uh-oh. Listen, the Giants defense almost got them in the playoffs at 6-10. That's all I'm saying.
Sabotage.
But no, so Kyle, we just ended what we call franchise tag season. So Kyle, let's look at some of the guys who got hit with the franchise tag, and some guys didn't get the franchise tag. So it was a good number of players before the 4 p.m. Tuesday deadline. We'll start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who had a tremendously hard decision, Kyle. Yes. It was either A, take your leading sack guy and pass rusher and Shaq Barrett at almost $20 million of a hit, or they take Chris Godwin, who was a Pro Bowl wide receiver 2 years ago, was kind of hurt the majority of the season last year, but he did still catch 65 passes for 840 yards and 7 scores, but made up for it in the playoffs by catching 16 passes in the playoffs. Godwin's franchise tag is at $15.9 million, which puts him in the top 5 of wide receivers in the entire league, Kyle. Do you think the Buccaneers made the right decision by taking Godwin over Barrett?
They made the right fiscal decision. They made the wrong football decision, right? And all you got to do is go to the damn Super Bowl to recognize that that's the case, right? Mm-hmm. It was that defensive line that won that Super Bowl as much as it was San Francisco's injuries. I'm sure we'll talk more about, or not San Francisco, sorry, Kansas City's injuries. I'm sure we'll talk more about Kansas City a little later in the pod. What I'm getting to is this. I know why they let Shaq go, embarrassment of riches. And if I saw also Devin White got an extension. So they were trying they're taking what the 49ers did this time last year when they shipped DeForest Buckner to the Colts, right? Mm-hmm. We're an embarrassment of riches on defense. Let's let some guys play who we're comfortable in. You know, at the end of the day, we still got Ndamukong Suh, Vita Vea. I'm not going to go down the whole list. JPP, blah, 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 right? They've got a butt ton of pass rush, and they're just a little less good than they were yesterday and saved a number of millions of dollars doing it. Whereas that receiver core, as we saw guys get injured throughout the year, there's still a lot of youth behind it. And at the end of the day, their two top guys, you know, Evans and
Chris Godwin.
Thank you. Why do I want to call him Galloway? Chris Godwin were an electric part of the passing game. Yeah, I know Godwin was hurt some, but I have no reason to believe he would be missing as much the next year, right?
See, the one question I have with that is that I get what you're pointing by saying the receiver's a little different, but I really thought they were going to franchise Barrett and then either try to resign Chris Godwin, who actually kind of wanted to be a free agent, or let him go and put Antonio Brown in that position, who played well when he had the opportunity. And, you know, you guys have guys like Scotty Miller and other receivers, like you said, on the youth side. You still have Gronk. You still have O.J. Howard.
Well, we don't know about Gronk yet.
Gronk will be back. If Brady's playing, Gronk is coming back.
I think so, too, but he was saying we don't know.
You still got Cameron Brate. They still have so many more weapons on offense.
Correct.
And I think it's very rare to have elite pass rushing, especially so much of it. I thought they would have put the money towards the tag for Barrett, but I mean, Chris Godwin is going to get paid somehow.
Hey, listen, he may be Three Fingers McGee, Rodney, but he certainly got a hold of Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. I'm just saying.
Speaking of players who also got held on to, let's start another wide receiver. The Chicago Bears franchise tag Allen Robinson. I don't think there was much of an argument about that when they were going to tag him, because if Russell Wilson gets traded, Deshaun Watson gets traded, they draft a quarterback, they go sign a quarterback. It doesn't matter. You got to have somebody to throw to. And Allen Robinson's a Pro Bowler, 102 catches last year. Kyle, makes sense to you?
I mean, yeah. Listen, at this point, with Allen Robinson being what he is, and not necessarily want to commit long term to a receiver because of where he is on the field as a position. Yeah, I kind of like the move. I did.
Another guy who I wouldn't surprise with a franchise tag, the Washington football team mentioned earlier, on the offensive line, tag Brandon Scherff for the second consecutive year. Because it's his second consecutive tag, he got hit with more money than he did the year before. He's at $18.1 million next season, Kyle. Do you agree with the Red Tails tagging Scherff in the situation?
I mean, you got a brand new quarterback. You got a guy that wants to stay, and you're in a position where your franchise is in transition. You're worried about the movement of the cap and things long term. Yeah, I see it.
All right. Other guys with the franchise tag, which was weird, Kyle, which is interesting about the Dak Prescott contract, because Dak Prescott also got hit with the franchise tag as well, too. What's up, Bobby?
That was a negotiating tag.
That was for Teddy. What's up, Ted?
Oh, Ted's in the building.
Why is he in here griping about passwords and stuff? We're trying to talk sports up in this beast.
Because he actually jumped on Facebook. Ted to Facebook is kind of like seeing Elon Musk in person. You don't really see him.
Well, no, I mean, listen, when I've gone on Haps all 2 or 3 times, he's been in all mine, so I guess I'm elite.
Exactly. All right, Dak Prescott got the franchise tag, which means he can never be tagged again. Good luck with the next contract. All right, let's talk about guys, Kyle, who also got tagged that were kind of interesting. Carolina tag offensive tackle Taylor Morton, $13.7 million for the 26-year-old tackle that started the last 3 seasons. Kyle, Carolina has had a revolving door of offensive linemen. We saw the trade last year with Trey Turner. I mean, $13 million for a left tackle that's been there for the last 3 years.
You're going to think I'm not argue with that? Like, he should be at least one of the top. The left tackle should be one of the 3 highest paid guys typically on a damn roster breakdown. So no, I don't have a problem with this.
Unless your quarterback is left-handed, then you use your right tackle.
True, but again, the cost of a good tackle, and granted, if he's that good, he can move to the other side. I'll put it this way. It doesn't bother me.
Speaking of tackles who got tagged, the Jacksonville Jaguars tagged former second-round pick Cam Robinson. He started all 16 games last year for the Jaguars to make $13.7 million. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is going to need somebody to protect him.
Mm-hmm. And now we're right back to that same concept. I think we've talked quite enough about that. Fortunately, like you said, he managed to get all 16 games in last season. I don't know that he was able to do that in a previous season. So there you go.
All right. On the defensive side of the ball, the New York Giants tagged Leonard Williams officially after having his best season of the career at 11.5 sacks. As the team's working on a long-term deal, wow, $19.35 million. Kyle, wow, that's a big number for Leonard Williams.
Yeah, if you're going to pay that kind of money to a guy, just give him the long-term contract and move on. Nobody's pass rush was that good in the NFC least. That's a mistake.
Chase Young's was, but he's on the rookie contract.
That's one guy. That's not an entire unit. Let's be clear.
Listen, Chase Young chased folks like he was the entire unit last year.
Good point.
All right. Other guys in the franchise tag. Here's an interesting one, Kyle.
Well, wait. Let Bobby get the weigh in real quick.
Okay.
I just want to say, because of this Leonard Williams getting tagged, we cut Kevin Zeitler, who's the only performer we had on the offensive line last year.
So I think he just supported me saying that was some dumb ish.
Yep.
It's the New York Giants, the same fan base that can play about missing the playoffs at 6-10. All right. Speaking of New York football teams, the Jets tagged safety Marcus May this season, and they got the Pro Bowl safety tag, which is interesting at $10.6 million. But Kyle, there's 2 parts about it that makes it weird to me.
Indeed.
Number one, they just went through the safety issue with Jamal Adams. They couldn't get him going.
You knew it was going to come up. You knew we were going to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen.
Kyle, they just had Jamal Adams, and they couldn't get this guy to a long-term deal. And then the agent, before the tag, was like, listen, my guy has got to get paid. And the Jets are dragging their feet. He dragged him on Twitter before they franchised him. The only difference is it's a non-exclusive franchise tag, which means whoever decides to sign him, good luck, because he's going to cost you in the back end. Speaking of safeties getting tagged, Denver tag safety Justin Simmons with the franchise tag for the second consecutive season. As they're trying to get to a long-term deal, Simmons will be making a little bit more than $11 million in the season at the free safety spot. I mean, I didn't think there's anything else on Denver to franchise because I wasn't putting on Von Miller. And Kyle, the last of the franchise tagging went to the New Orleans Saints, who tagged Marcus Williams surprisingly last year. He started 6 games last 4 seasons with only 1 interception, Kyle. $10.6 million for Marcus Williams for a team that's bleeding money everywhere because they're over the cap.
Yeah.
This one I don't get.
Moreover, to your point, he's not even the best DB on the team. He's not even the best corner on the team, right?
He plays safety.
Williams, excuse me. Yeah.
Listen,
so the point is, WTF, mate.
Listen, the only thing I remember Marcus Williams was for Stephon Diggs in the playoffs.
Well played. Well played. And you just paid him a butt ton of money because why not?
Well, Kyle, he didn't play that one very well.
No, he did not.
All right, Kyle, notable names that did not get the franchise tag. Some players surprising, some players you're like, The Green Bay Packers and Aaron Jones. Let's start there first, Kyle. Did you think the Packers were going to tag their 1,000-yard back-to-back Pro Bowl running back?
I mean, for a team that rarely goes after free agents as it is, you think they're going to franchise a running back? No. Moreover, how much time did Jones miss throughout the season? You don't franchise that. No. I'll tell you what may even happen, Danny. They'll test the market with him. They may be able to retain him at a lower rate. Now, a lot of buzz out there, at least in my areas, people are talking about him maybe making sense in Miami. I don't think that's going to happen, but or at least it shouldn't happen because for the love of Christ, Miami, I wrote it 3 years ago. Beef up your offensive effing line.
Maybe they do that in the draft.
Yeah, they tried that this past year. Didn't go so hot for them, especially with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting Tristan Wirfs before they got the chance to pick.
Listen, they traded for Isaiah Wilson the other day.
Tristan Wirfs. Even the Titans fans in our 3-point conversion group chat were like, I'm glad he found the place, but I wouldn't pay that for him. Where you at, Cortland? You know I'm right.
I mean, listen, I'm just saying. All right, now Kyle, this non-tag surprised me because I thought this was going to happen. The Lions let Kenny Golladay test unrestricted free agency. I would have sworn with a new quarterback in Jared Goff that Marvin Jones Jr. is a free agent. You would have tagged Kenny Golladay to give Jared Goff something to throw to.
No, I definitely get that. I mean, like it's similar to Tampa taking care of Chris Godwin, right? I would have expected that to happen there too. To your point, even Marvin Jones with him being a free agent, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Bobby?
Hey, real quick, from a pure fantasy football standpoint, look how Jared Goff made almost 2 tight ends into stars. Higbee and Everett, who's gone now, who'll be gone. So you can imagine Hawkinson next year with Goff at quarterback.
Interesting point, Bobby Blackjack. I like that.
Yes, but the problem is Hawkinson would have been better if he had Kenny Golladay going down the other side of the field. Now
I don't think that's the argument.
The crazy part is KG as good as gone? Maybe. I'm not sure about that, but here's the thing I have with that. Now you have a new quarterback. Your top 3 receivers, which include Golladay, Jones, and Danny Amendola, are all free agents. All right. Maybe they could get a long-term deal done with Golladay, but it's just really weird that they let the man hit the open market, and this would have been his first tag as well, too. So, I don't know. Detroit's Detroit. It is what it is. Now, the Seattle Seahawks had options on 2 guys and didn't franchise either one of them. Running back Chris Carson and cornerback Shaquille Griffin from UCF, Kyle. Were you surprised that either one didn't get the franchise tag?
No. In Seattle, they realized that defense actually, no, it's not even good. I mean, with Chris Dunlap is a bigger surprise.
Carlos Dunlap.
What's that?
Carlos Dunlap.
Carlos, I said Chris. Damn it! Now I get Chris right. Carlos Dunlap leaving is what surprised me. Maybe he didn't produce as much as they liked, though. I don't know that I saw that on film. And in Shaquille Griffin's case, him being a Pro Bowler, not the past season, but the season before, they would probably argue a decline in production. I'll put it this way, man. If the attitude of the Seattle front office is that this defense isn't good enough to justify protecting those assets, I get it. But the Dunlap thing is very surprising to me. I'll grant you that.
I mean, Dunlap did have 6 sacks last year for the Seahawks.
For the short time he was there, too. It's not like he was there the whole season, right?
Yeah, I mean, for the full season, he ended up with 6 sacks for the full season between Cincinnati and Seattle. Right. It's crazy because he put better production in the 8 games in Seattle than he even attempted to in Cincinnati.
Correct.
Now, Kyle, other guys that didn't get the franchise tag, Hunter Henry of the Los Angeles Chargers did not get the franchise tag, even though he came off a career season last year, which is kind of interesting to me because as a young quarterback with Justin Herbert, we mentioned earlier, with Jalen Hurts, a tight end is your best friend, especially with Keenan Allen never being healthy half the time. Another tight end.
Never a concern, so we'll put it that way.
Another tight end that didn't get the franchise tag either is Tennessee tight end Jonnu Smith either. Tennessee's just... I'm not sure about that. I'm not. It's weird. I thought Smith could be a huge part of the offense.
True, but if they apply that money to actually getting a damn pass rush, that's the difference between making it to another round in the playoffs.
Well, right now the Titans right now aren't really doing well. They're at winning the offseason. Let's just say that.
Correct.
All right, Kyle. That's our franchise tagging session portion of the night. And Kyle, we're seeing guys getting cut, and free agency of the NFL does start tomorrow. Do you expect any of the major free agents on the free agent block to be signing tomorrow, in your opinion? Any of the major free agents?
I mean, we'll define a major free agent. Actually, the one I find the most interesting is, of course, we saw where the Kansas City Chiefs released left tackle Tyler Fisher, right?
Eric Fisher and both tackles. Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz both got cut.
And then the right tackle was released today as well. And meanwhile, you have already forgotten why you lost the Super Bowl, but okay. So, but what I heard, and I forget the young man's name, but they have retained the services of a tackle and a former Baltimore Raven to fill the gap, who is worth a fraction of the money contract-wise to Fisher. So you'll see kind of moves like that. J.J. Watt's been signed, so in my eyes, there are no major free agents. No, honestly, I think the biggest thing you'll see is a lot of buzz. You'll see 2 things happen if I'm using my crystal ball here. One of them will be that Watson. It's ironic. This is when we'll find out that the team that says they're not going to trade Watson actually will, and the player who claims he might want to trade but hasn't done so officially will prove that he hasn't any intention of leaving at all. So, and of course, by that I mean I think we actually start to see for real the life of Deshaun Watson outside of Houston become more of a thing out there, and we hear these silly rumors about Russell Carrington Wilson leaving Seattle be subdued, just as I've said for months.
So, based on our good friends at NFL.com, Kyle, the top 10 free agents in the market this year. Number 10 on the list that with free agency starting this week is number 10 is edge rusher Matthew Judon from the Baltimore Ravens. Outside linebacker, very, very good pass rusher. Problem is, well, by NFL.com standards, is the fact that when Ravens linebackers leave Baltimore, they're never that good when they leave.
Well, that depends entirely on who you ask.
Number 9, offensive guard Joe Thuney from the New England Patriots is also a free agent as well too. A starting guard. Didn't get paid. Didn't get the franchise tag for the second year in a row, Kyle. Do you see Joe Thuney maybe coming back at a lower rate, or do you see him moving on away from Bill Belichick?
I mean, it's good to test the market. It's that situation where if you have a team that needs to fill a gap because of somebody leaving or something like that. But as far as guards go, there hasn't been as much movement at this time. At the end of the day, I think the Patriots may find a way to retain him, but you never know with that.
A guy that's been trying to get number 8, a guy's been trying to get paid for years and hadn't gotten the big contract, the long-term deal is Jadeveon Clowney. I can't remember the team played with because he's played with so many of the last couple of years. Number 7, we talked about Kenny Golladay earlier, arguably the best receiver in the class that's available. Had an injury-filled season, but Golladay puts up numbers.
I would be very interested. Call me a homer if you want. I would be very interested to see him in a 49ers uniform. I think that would be a good fit.
Listen, they got him at a quarterback. It's over. All right, number 6 was a guy who surprisingly did not get franchise tagged. It is Cincinnati linebacker or outside pass rusher Carl Lawson. Listen, when you get 64 pressures in the NFL and 24 quarterback hits and don't get a franchise tag, what the Bengals? That's all I have to say.
You know what? Tennessee Titans, step your game up. That's the guy you need to target.
Yeah, if they can find cap space somehow. Number 5 is edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. Listen, a big guy that he puts up numbers when given snaps. The question is, can he pull up production if he gets a ton of type snaps?
Well, yeah, that's why you don't franchise that dude. Let someone else take that risk.
Number 4, I think a guy that would have been franchise tagged, we didn't get hurt. Pittsburgh edge rusher Bud Dupree tore his ACL at the end of last season. But listen, Dupree is a top-notch pass rusher. He's a top-notch end guy. All right, he's going to make somebody very happy, Atlanta.
Them, or I actually think if they could find a way to swing it with their financial situation, him in Seattle to beef that defense up would make sense.
I'm just saying Atlanta, they got no cap space. Number 3, Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. Well, was of the formerly the Green Bay Packers. 533 touches last year, Kyle, for over 3,000 yards and 30 touchdowns over the last 2 seasons.
I mean, someone's going to get him. It's just a matter of who's going to overpay for him.
Listen, the Dolphins can use him.
I don't think they can use him that much.
Friend.
He would be a beast on the Dolphins. Oof.
I'm not saying he wouldn't. No, and listen, in that division, Bobby, shoot, other than Buffalo, like you expect the Jets to stop him? I know that the Pats are getting all their defensive players back from COVID, opt-outs and but what are they going to do? The Bills may be the only team in the division that provides an antidote. I get that. But again, they need beef. The damn vegetarians are supposed to live on the West Coast. BS, they're right here in my backyard in Miami here. I'm just saying.
Number 2 is Shaq Barrett. We know about his big sack totals.
Someone's going to scoop him up.
And the thing is, Kyle, you talking about someone getting paid. Shaq Barrett's going to get the contract that Jadeveon Clown's been fighting to get for the last couple of years.
I mean, listen, if he plays his cards right, he might get Von Miller money. I'm just saying.
And the number 1 guy on the list, Kyle, by the NFL.com is one of the offensive linemen from your San Francisco 49ers, Trent Williams, offensive tackle. Like you said, left tackle's best friend.
I mean, there's so many guys getting new. There are so many new quarterbacks for teams and franchises this year. Someone's going to snatch that up. It's going to happen. Or hell, I'll even say this. Maybe they're trying to protect a quarterback that's recovering. Cincinnati trying to protect a young and recovering from injury Joe Burrow may even be on the list. I don't know their cap situation, but
well, I mean that's the case. I mean, it means if you do that, you got to take receiver at number 5. You're going to have to go for receiver at 5 and Jamar Chase. At least go draft wide receiver. At least draft a receiver that has rapport with Joe Burrow.
I mean, listen, that's a scenario. I love it, Danny Thompson. Hell, maybe you could trade down and still get a cat like that and bulk up other stuff.
Oh no, he won't go past 6.
Okay.
I can't see him going past 6, and I definitely don't see him going past Denver if Denver's taking a receiver. Because Denver, I think, would love to get one more receiver because they still think Drew Lock is the answer.
Idiots. I mean, what?
I mean, it is what it is. But Kyle, here's a question: do you think, because NFL.com is saying that Trent Williams is a kind of a potential Hall of Famer? Do you agree with that?
The biggest problem he has is where he's played, right?
Okay.
The franchise for which he's played has been bad for a long time. Excuse me, but I'll say this. Joe Thomas was a lock despite having played in Cleveland. I don't think Trent Williams is to be a lock despite playing as a red tail as long as he did, for example. But should the conversation be had? Yeah, I think so.
Okay. NFL free agency starts tomorrow, so just stay tuned to 3pointconversion.com for all the updates of guys signing contracts, because I think the Cleveland Browns will be overpaying for somebody by 12:30. All right. Just saying, Browns always overpay for somebody because nobody voluntarily goes to Cleveland. Not even team airplanes that play the Cleveland teams.
Damn.
Speaking of things beginning, the NBA second half of the season started back yesterday, Kyle, and the NBA is racing towards the playoffs. And when I say racing, listen, they're going at basically F1 F1 Formula One speed. If you're the case of the Charlotte Hornets, the team I cover on a daily basis, the Hornets play their final 37 games in 67 days.
Oh my God.
When you talk about the race to the playoffs, this is the race to the playoffs. And Kyle, couple big storylines as we get to the second half of the season is the trade deadline comes up on March 26th. I know, Kyle, you're yawning because you just finished watching the All-Star game. But the trade deadline trade deadline's on, but I'll tell NBA fans this. I don't expect much movement at the deadline because guess what? 10 teams make the playoffs for each conference, and every team is jumbling for the playoffs.
Right.
With the exception of the Detroit Pistons, who lost to the Charlotte Hornets tonight, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, everybody's still in playoff contention.
Even the Cavs?
Listen, the East is the East. All right.
Good point.
We can make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference, Kyle. All I'm saying is that as we get closer to the deadline, we might see some teams fall off this list. But as of now, the major rumors and the players have been talking about is the Orlando Magic potential fire sale, which will not happen, by the way. Magic fans expect to see Nikola Vucevic beyond the deadline. The Magic have told pretty much every team in the league, unless it is a blowaway offer, it ain't happening. Yes, Kyle, we understand. It's the Magic. It's been boring to watch all year. It is what it is.
It's just sad.
Evan Fournier and Terrence Ross could get moved to the deadline because Fournier is a free agent, and the Magic kind of want to figure out what to do with Terrence Ross. But don't worry, nobody's happy.
Because T-Ross ain't been hitting the damn shots like they'd hoped.
I mean, listen, it's hard. Ross has been what Terrence Ross has always been, an up and down player for this. Always been. The one free agent that people need to keep an eye on, Blake Griffin signed with the Brooklyn Nets, is LaMarcus Aldridge. Is being worked to be let out of San Antonio. They're working to mutually part ways with him. Of course, they're trying to trade him, but more likely they'll buy him out, which is weird. Which is weird because going into the second half of the season, the Spurs are in 7th place in the Western Conference. Tell me how that works.
I can't. No, I really don't know.
Speaking of things that work, well, we say happy trails sometimes in the show, but Kyle, let's just say welcome back. Because now, with yesterday's signing of Disney and the NHL agreeing, people will pay attention to the NHL again.
Does this mean I get to see Barry Melrose again? That's what I want.
We get the mullet back, ladies and gentlemen. We get the mullet back. Cortland in the chat saying Andre Drummond could end up in LA. It could potentially happen, but here's the thing: if he gets bought out, watch Brooklyn.
Oh, hey, that'd be a big deal.
Well, because he's from the New York area. He's from the New York area. If it doesn't work, watch the Knicks, watch the Raptors, watch the Celtics.
I mean, listen, that's all adorable, but I mean, maybe with Andre Drummond there, they won't give 140 points up in a game.
No, just be 137. All right.
It's a start, Danny Thompson. Baby steps, damn it.
Listen, Andre Drummond protected paint more than Blake Griffin. Let's just say that. But I mean,
setting that bar nice and low.
Listen, Blake Griffin. Wow. Blake Griffin's supposed to be their version of Kevin Love. Okay, that's an interesting one. All right. So, and Blake Griffin.
Hey, Bobby, get that hockey hate crap off the screen. The troll is our favorite troll and we love him, but we draw the line of talking trash on hockey.
Listen, speaking of hockey, we're talking hockey on the show now.
Now, real quick, I was going to ask you, especially you, Danny, when they have the parade downtown Brooklyn, are you coming up for the parade?
Was it for the hot dog eating contest? Was it? Are we talking about for the 4th of July hot dog eating contest?
No, NBA championship.
Bobby, the Nets.
You know the best team in the league is. Yeah, you have to admit it. We're the best team in the league.
Here's the thing, Bobby.
Who?
It doesn't work.
When did you become a Lakers fan? What are you talking about?
Here's the thing, Bobby. In basketball, when you load up on every player, it doesn't work.
Steve Nash, the plan, baby.
Steve Nash ain't the head coach, all right? It's Mike D'Antoni, all right? Steve Nash is just there wearing Nikes and nice outfits, okay? And dribbling a soccer ball, all right? The real head coach is Mike D'Antoni, and if we all know Mike D'Antoni teams, they don't win. All right, in the playoffs. Back to what I was saying. The NHL's back, Kyle. It seemed like ever since the NHL left ESPN, the Disney family, people stopped paying attention to hockey, all right? Maybe it's because of Barry Melrose's mullet. Maybe it's because of Gary Thorne and Bill Clement on the play-by-play and the color. But NHL has not been apparent to anybody over the last few years. And now they've signed a deal with Disney, ESPN, and ESPN Plus, along with the ABC family. And you know what, though? I'm extremely excited because now ESPN SportsCenter will not just give Barry Melrose a 10-second thing to talk hockey because guess what? It's going to be on the network. All right.
He's going to get a segment. He's going to get a show, and the mullet will flow again. Pop quiz, Danny Thompson. Better mullet, Barry Melrose or Mike Gundy of Oklahoma State football?
I'm taking C. Give me Joe Dirt.
See, you can't use fictional mullets. Mullets. This is great.
Actually, you gotta give me Barry Melrose because he's got the silver grays with the slick back. Man,
you got to give it to Gundy. He keeps that dark and sharp. But I'm not gonna diss. I'm never gonna diss going with the salt and pepper because at the end of the day, that might be what leaves you going, ooh, baby, baby, and make you want to shoot. Moving on.
Nice one. But something, Kyle, that makes the NHL much more interesting for sports fans is that the NHL will get 4 of the 7 years of the contract because it was 7 years between 2 and 2.5 billion, Kyle, over the 7 years. Here's some of the things that are good for hockey fans. 4 of the next 7 years, starting in the 2021-22 season, the Stanley Cup Final will be on ABC. All right, exclusive. So we'll be on network television for 4 of the 7 years, and more likely NBC will get the other 3 years because NBC will get the other part of the streaming package. Another good thing for hockey fans is there'll be over 100 games across the ESPN network that's considered exclusive. All right. So getting your ESPN services will be well worth it. All right. The other part is, Kyle, there'll be no more having to read for NHL Center Ice because as part of the streaming package for Out of Market, over 1,000 games will be available to fans on ESPN Plus. So NHL Center Ice, go away. All you gotta do is get ESPN because it's part of the network. It works out great for the league itself, and it's good to see my future Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes back in the Stanley Cup Finals once again.
Oh, you think they're going to take the Bolts down like that? That's adorable.
Rodney, listen, you watch
Bobby,
Panthers.
why are you giving? Why, Bobby?
No. Yes, on the big NBC, which will also, Ted, as we all know, big NBC will show 2 games in the Stanley Cup Finals and put everything else on cable. We're gonna have Stanley Cup Final games on USA and Peacock. All right, Kyle. We're gonna see, Kyle, the sad part is the way that NBC has treated the NHL. They probably will put games on USA, but they'll make them tape delayed after WWE Raw.
Oh, you're awful. Hey, shouts to Cortland. Yes, you can actually watch your Nashville Preds games. You might be disappointed, but you will. I'm talking trash.
You know what? Listen, Ted, no one's hating on Brooklyn. But the more players you buy, the less likely you will win to the championship because it's going to take chemistry.
I'm not hating on Brooklyn. I'm expressing that I like defense.
And you know what, Kyle? Ted makes a great point. Exclusivity will burn the fans, but here's the thing. What won't burn fans is paying $200 for NHL Center Ice or $149.
By the way, if you're worried about ESPN Plus, listen, Ted, I know you're the late night parent. You got kids. You got Disney Plus. Just buy the damn package. Stop whining.
And you know what, though? And Kyle, that's a great point because you get Disney Plus. Now it makes ESPN Plus much more viable to people who just have Disney or just have Hulu. Like you make that package all inclusive in one thing together. And like I said, with all those NHL games, all the UFC stuff, it makes perfect sense. And now ESPN and people will pay attention in the United States to the NHL because over the last 6 years, no one's paid attention to the NHL because NBC Sports Network is now being defunct. No one cared.
And I also got to plug Ted Hicks. That's also a win.
Yeah, and to Rodney's point, he can pre-schedule his naps. Don't you do that 16 Sundays a year anyway at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? That's pre-scheduling for its fullest.
You make a lot of cheap Carolina Panther dunks, but that was a good dunk. You might have 180'd on that dunk right there. I didn't say 360, but you definitely put it behind your back.
Well, Kyle, here's another 180 since you transitioned to that one. Here's another 180. Kyle, interesting turn of events. That's fine. I'll take that check all day long.
I wasn't ready, Rodney. I wasn't ready for that one.
Hey, listen. I am all for being the head of diversity and inclusion. I'll have a whole closet full of NHL jerseys. And the first one will be the Hartford Whalers, sir. If Bobby had the theme song, I wish he'd play it right now. All right.
Pause for Q.
No, I don't think he has that one queued up. I'm sure he's probably looking for it as we speak right now. What I'm saying is, as we transition, Kyle, we talk about things doing a 180. This has been interesting all week. Let's transition back to football. An interesting turn of events in professional football this week.
Indeed.
There have been talks of a merger between the XFL and the CFL. Okay? For those who've never watched Canadian Football League, shame on you. Okay? It is extremely entertaining. It's 3 downs, and the goalpost is in the middle of the beginning part of the end zone. Okay? They have 3 downs, and they don't like running the football. What more can you like of football? Okay? And it's Canadian football, including itself with the XFL. The problem is the Canadian Football League's been bleeding money for years. 2/3 of the teams don't make money, and it's in Canada. And now they're talking about merging with the XFL, who actually had a really, really good start until COVID got here. Television ratings were up. Come on, Bobby. If you're going to put that logo up there, you better play damn Bass Bonanza. All right. If I don't hear Bass Bonanza, don't post that logo.
I'll have it next week.
Okay, so we can't post the Wales logo.
Challenge accepted.
Listen, if you post that logo, I better hear Brass Bonanza. That's all I'm saying. All right. Here's the thing. Yes, and
get him, Cortland.
Here's the issue with the CFL. The CFL's had issues with money over the last few years. It's been almost close to, I think, 7 to almost to a decade, Kyle, when it comes to money in the CFL. Yes, they're drawing fans, but of course their television contract is only with TSN. They don't have much exposure, and really, the CFL is a league which kind of is difficult to play with because when I say the difficult is that even though their season ends before NFL training camp, a lot of CFL players don't have enough time to make it to NFL camps or rosters. Now, the XFL has always been trying to do something different and trying to kind of push the boundary lines. That's what it's always been like. Now, we don't know what the new XFL looks like. But the one thing I do know is that if you go back on past history, the CFL had tried it in North America. It failed. Baltimore did win a championship. That was their only football championship. That's the last time a Baltimore team won the championship was until the Ravens did, was the Baltimore CFL team. Now, Kyle, when you heard about the merger, what were your thoughts between the XFL and the CFL coming together to become one FL?
Man, it's compelling, right? I mean, the biggest gripe I have is, of course, they would do this instead of the AAF, so now that Tampa has a team instead of Orlando. But now that I got my personal salty and bitterness out of the way, it's interesting. It makes me want to smell what The Rock is cooking, so to speak.
You know, with owner Danny Garcia, the first professional league owner Danny Garcia, The Rock's ex-wife, but she is Danny Garcia. She runs the XFL. The real question is, Kyle, with 8 Canadian teams and the XFL teams available, I wonder, is it going to be a 16-team league? Now, how would that merger work? Will Canada lose teams? Would the XFL go back to the same markets they were in the last time? Because if you look at how numbers were split, even though it was all equal together, the team that was making the most money was St. Louis. St. Louis far and away made more money than anybody else. I want to say Seattle and DC were right behind it because they basically sold out almost every game they played. And I'm not sure, they said in Tampa, they didn't put anybody in the stands because nobody supports Tampa because it's Tampa.
Moreover, they took the colors of USF, and frankly, who wants to watch South Florida or West Florida, as it's called up here in Orlando, continue to stink wearing gold and green? Nobody wants to watch that.
In the middle of cow country. It is what it is.
In the middle of cow country. Horns down.
Now, Kyle, here's a question. With the CFL, Bobby?
By the way, did you guys see the well, I'm not going to call it a headline, but former NFL running back Trent Richardson signed with some Mexican pro football league?
He's playing soccer now?
No,
no, that would be football.
Football league.
Yes, it's football, not football.
Not football. Not goal. Touchdown.
No.
Trent Richardson averaged 2.7 yards a carry in the damn AAF. Okay.
Hey, we're happy he can feed his family.
But apparently there's a whole burgeoning love for American football in Mexico, and there's a lot of these teams they play and everything, and they're getting American players. So
Listen, no throwing shade over there. So the fact that if you average 2 yards a carry in the AAF, it does not impress me anymore. He was a great running back at Alabama, probably because of a good offensive line and the fact of, some guy named Mark Ingram is back there as well too. But
he's all right. By the way, I love him.
And the Cleveland Browns ruined his career, by the way.
Oof. I love the concept that the Texans went and got Mark Ingram, but unfortunately, he too now has his career ruined. I'm just saying.
Listen, I don't understand that signing of Mark Ingram and the Houston Texans. Like they just gave Deshaun Watson away for a guy that now they had to go sign somebody else. Does that just prove that trade was a failure?
I just work here, Daniel Johnson.
I mean, come on, man. But the XFL is just interesting. It's big like me, you, and the guys on the screen. Listen, Trent Richardson,
he's not wrong. I mean, we call him the troll, but that's just fine analysis.
He might be bigger than all. He might be bigger than all three of us. I'm saying is, I guess I really want to see. They talk about because the XFL was supposed to start in 2022. Those restart rumors have been placed on hold because the CFL was trying to play this summer. Yeah. If the merger talks are happening, they might try to get this thing underway as soon as possible. The only thing Courtland mentioned about 2 continental markets is the fact of we still can't travel to Canada.
Correct.
Canada already said we're not allowed. All right.
That's right.
That's why if you look at COVID rates, Canada's pretty good right now. All right. Canada is so crazy. They have told the Raptors and Blue Jays stay out.
Now, granted, in the U.S., COVID daily new case numbers have dropped significantly, and we are distributing the vaccine. But to your point, that's got to get cleaned up before that's viable. You are absolutely 100% correct.
Listen, yes, he wants to work with the Rocks people. Of course he does, because it's a bailout.
I mean, shoot, Ted, if you had an opportunity to work with The Rock, you would too. I mean, hell, just on general principle. Well, I want to smell what The Rock is cooking too. But at the end of the day, Danny's point is valid. We got to work that out.
Well, no, it's all about saving the CFL from basically extinction. COVID already killed. COVID put a damage to a league that was already hurting as it is. Indeed. Okay, COVID could have been the final blow for one of the longest running professional football leagues outside the NFL that we have. Mm-hmm. The only question I have, like it's to Courtland's point, is how would this work? And if you do have 2 intercontinental teams, or continental conferences, what rules are you playing with? Are we playing with Canadian rules, or are we playing with XFL rules? Are we playing because it's a difference? And the other part is, and the other question is,
God damn it! No, don't encourage him.
I've experience with the Lingerie Football League. I think it's pretty funny. But I kind of envision like big women with his XXXFL.
Oh Jesus! No, man. Listen, I've seen the way those ladies hit in videos. Like
that. They're legit.
They tear each other apart. It actually takes any of the fun out of it for me. Like how hard they hit it. Listen, like damn.
Rodney, the Lingerie Football League will average less than 1 yard to carry. They'll hit him so many times.
And they'll hit him hard too. Like he'll average that little because one will hit him in the knee and he'll be done. And then he'll have an excuse as to why he lost to me in the 40.
I mean, I really can't argue that point. Speaking of things that can't be argued and points that can't be argued, Kyle. Like you said at the beginning of the show, Kyle, you've had a long week. You've had a week where, guess what? You've had 9 press conferences.
9 press conferences in 9 work days. Yeah.
So it's time for class in session. It's time for the student game section of the show. And Kyle, class is in session. What have you learned about the UCF coaching staff, the new coaching staff under Gus Malzahn in the last couple of days?
That UCF is a far better coaching job destination than I imagined. Listen, I remember talking to the commissioner of the American Athletic Conference before UCF's 2017 conference championship season there. Scott Frost was still there back then. This is a team that got the national championship ranking, et cetera, et cetera. And Coach Oresko was saying of the American Conference as a whole that he would like for this to be a place that's known as a series of good jobs for coaches to come to, whether they're building their career or not. Sure, some of them may be shorter term, but what's happening with Gus Malzahn at UCF is very unique, right? They got money from Tennessee for what happened with Danny White and Josh Heupel to go there. And Gus Malzahn at the same time is being subsidized by Auburn in money that he's still getting there after being let go. So it's very fascinating that we have kind of that perfect storm. And listen, say what you will about Dana Holgorsen in Houston being a good hire, getting a Power 5 coach in place at an American Conference school, but Gus Malzahn certainly got a higher pedigree than even him, right? What has essentially happened is you've gotten a national championship caliber coach in a situation with a team that a lot of people think bridge the gap between G5 and P5, right? And UCF football and all that. I'll put it this way. I saw that ultimate coaching job. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's not a lot. Cortland and I have not agreed on everything when it comes to college football, but I have to be a believer. Every single coach I talked to at this press conference that was a new coach, because the receiver coach, Daryl Wyatt, is actually retained from the Heupel coaching staff with the wide receivers. But all of them are a very unique form of excited. And there's a difference between somebody who's coming to the mic and saying, I'm really excited, than versus, I'm really excited. I see blah, 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 and each and every one of them, when asked about UCF's ability to compete with Power 5 teams, they doubled down hard on that fact. And listen, if Terry Moajer could actually schedule some of these games with Power 5 teams, he's going to take some of these 2-for-1 deals that the former athletic director Danny White wouldn't. It's going to be interesting to see. And with 2021 schedule looking like what it does, UCF opening with Boise State at home, with Louisville on the schedule. I think they have BYU on the schedule this year. I got to double check. That could be a series of fantastic games to get this coaching staff and team off and running, to build something else that could even possibly, maybe, hopefully, in the eyes of UCF fans, surpass 2017.
Speaking of things that are off and running, Kyle, is a transition. It's now the race to Indianapolis now. The race to Indianapolis began almost 2 weeks ago with the college basketball's my favorite time of year, which is March Madness. For those in this room who like March Madness, which includes one co-host to the right of me, it's college basketball season, for crying out loud. The ACC tournament's going on. I'm covering the ACC this week. Yes, Bobby, let the scream out. Seton Hall won again today, but Kyle, it's really been the race for Indianapolis with the exception of one team. The Duke Blue Devils today, season ended, unfortunately, today when one of their players tested positive for COVID during the middle of the ACC tournament, causing the Blue Devils and Coach Krzyzewski to shut it down.
Yeah.
Now, people said, well, the Duke Blue Devils had a hard time getting in the tournament. They would have had to win the ACC tournament. But the way Joe Lunardi had them placed, they were considered one of the first 4 teams that were out. Tonight, they play a top 15 team in Florida State if they would have played tonight. Duke had been playing very good basketball. Mark Williams was turning the corner as a power forward this year. And here's the best part about it. Duke was playing some better basketball. And if they would have beat Florida State tonight, what would have happened was, guess what? Duke would have probably potentially played themselves into a game and even a date with North Carolina tomorrow in the semifinals. Kyle, it is March Madness, sir. Are you getting excited yet, or are you getting sleepy?
I'm super sleepy for March Madness. Listen, we've been over how I feel about college basketball. It ain't all that. Tar Heels win again.
The Tar Heels are playing right now. They're playing the late game in the ACC tournament. Check out my work on 3pointconversion.com with complete updates. Last night, hey, Bobby, North Carolina smacked Notre Dame by like almost 50 points last night.
I'm just Notre Dame football. I'm not,
Exactly. Yeah, good.
No, I'm actually a Carolina fan.
Bobby.
Now I'm just confused.
Bobby, see you later.
By the way, I just got a Facebook friend request from Thomas Brady Sr. Any chance that's Tom Brady's dad?
One can only hope. And one can only hope he hears how often I say his son isn't the GOAT.
Oh, by the way, I was at dinner before with my family after the service, and we're talking about the whole Meghan Markle, Prince Harry thing. I just straight out say, you know what America needs to do, and I'll let this more when I get my show going. We should just name Tom Brady the king of America. Just make him like our royal, because I'm. There's a reason why we had 1776 to get out of, having to worry about what happens over there in England.
And you put us back under the regime of a Trump supporter? No, thank you.
Bobby, to make him like what?
Like, I just worked. I did not come up with that.
If there's going to be royalty in America, Tom Brady should be the prince or the king.
There's only one king, sir. And that is LeBron Ramon James, sir. He's the only king that we have. Okay?
Hold up. Dude's middle name is really Ramon?
Yes.
That is awesome.
First off, LeBron James is the only king that we have in this situation.
Okay, second, sir? Why are we calling him king and not Razor Ramon, baby? Woo!
Because he's not oozing machismo. I don't know. All I'm saying is Tom Brady's the king. Tom Brady wouldn't even be the knight of this country. Okay?
So if LeBron's the king, then what's Michael Jordan? God?
No, Michael Jordan's above everything. Okay, it's like it's LeBron. Basically, if this is coming to America, listen, if this is coming to America, Michael Jordan is like King Joffrey Joffre, and then sooner or later, LeBron's going to take over the kingdom. Okay.
Did you just call LeBron Akeem? Is that what happened?
Listen, we're talking the original coming to America.
And if that's the case, does that make Kobe Bryant semi?
No, Magic Johnson was semi.
Okay.
Maybe, no, I'd say Charles Barkley was.
Charles Barkley is semi. That's awesome. Holy snap. That's great.
It's Paul Bates.
Who's Paul Bates? Hold on. That might be Karl Malone. All right.
Karl Malone's in the barbershop.
No.
And John Stockton's the Jewish dude in the corner.
You know what? If we think about this coming, if we had coming to America with NBA players at this current moment, the barbershop would be Shaquille O'Neal, Paul Pierce.
I like that.
Who else? Charles Barkley, and I need one more guy that keeps talking about old school basketball. That's going to get on my last nerve.
Oh shoot!
I got to think of the last one.
It's oh my gosh, why am I forgetting his name? Former Timberwolf Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett. Because Garnett gives credit to the younger players now. To this generation's basketball, he does give credit. He doesn't throw salt on wounds.
He's the guy in there that says he did whoop Joe Louis' ass though. That's Kevin Garnett.
Okay. And Shaq is the one playing Eddie Murphy's character, actually cutting the hair.
Okay.
All right. Mighty T Shop is led by Mighty T basketball players. There we go. At TNT, y'all should hire those guys for a segment and call it Mighty T Basketball Shop. All right. But Kyle, speaking of things, I said it's the race to Indianapolis is on. Like I said, March Madness begins on Sunday. We'll talk more about the tournament because as we're on the air on Thursday night show on the air, we will be going against the NCAA tournament, so we might have to move the show to Wednesday. That's all I'm saying because the NCAA tournament Thursday and Friday.
I record on Wednesdays for a show that matters way more than the tournament. I'll leave it at that.
Kyle, you're not American. Okay.
What?
Yes, March Madness is for America.
No. Super Bowl Sunday is the national holiday. I'm just saying.
We can do a whole normal show, and then we have live look-ins, and we can do live.
You try to get us clipped by the NCAA. You try to get us clipped by Turner, the NCAA. Everybody in between, aren't you, Bobby?
Danny's not going to have it. Like, listen. First of all, I love the fact that you guys next to each other up at the top make it to be Danny Bobby. That's great. But that's how he moves me over.
I have the power.
What, you didn't like being a NASCAR driver? Anyways.
Shake and bake.
Listen, I'll put it this way, Bobby. If you want a show to happen on Thursday, it's going to be Kyle guest hosting because I think Danny's going to want to watch some damn basketball. I'm just saying.
I mean, listen, the Tar Heels might be playing Wednesday. We'll talk about that.
Maybe.
No, Rodney, stop it. Okay, those days are over. Okay, all right. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, Panther. Thank you, Cortland. Thank you, Cortland.
It's a holy month of bad basketball. It's a waste of my damn time.
You're from the state of Florida and don't know what college basketball really is.
Listen, no, what Joakim Noah and Billy Donovan did was adorable. I thought it was great and a very good feel-good story. And then afterwards, I stopped caring.
Listen, because Florida, most of the times the year in college basketball doesn't care because between Miami, Florida, Florida State, and UCF, USF, VCU, whatever combination.
FIU, FAU.
Great Value.
Great value. No, you did.
Publix.
Sam's.
Between all those Publix, I don't know, all those college basketball teams you have in Florida, no one actually does anything except for the Gators. So I understand college basketball is not your thing because you guys are better in football. It is what it is. But in this part, and the other part of the 49 states, and the 48
in Carolina, where you have Duke and this other team that's there that Michael Jordan went to, you guys care. Unfortunately, your football sucks.
You mean Goat University?
Sure it is.
Could you imagine that the greatest basketball player of all time and the NFL's greatest player on defense came from the same college?
Did you say Lawrence Taylor's the greatest defensive player of all time?
Greatest defensive player of all time.
Who?
Undisputed.
Lawrence Taylor.
Is that what he's saying?
That's his final.
Did Lawrence Taylor go to Notre Dame?
Talk about for defense?
With the Carolina.
Oh, because the greatest football player of all time,
defensive player. He's a defensive player.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Okay, because the greatest football player in the history of football went to Michigan.
No, he went to Notre Dame. Was drafted in 1979 by the San Francisco 49ers.
Rocket Ismail?
Rocket Ismail didn't go to the 49ers, dummy.
He went to Notre Dame. That's what Notre Dame. Tim Brown. So Kyle, you said the greatest football player of all time is Tony Rice.
You don't even know who that is. What are you talking about?
Tony Rice, the only quarterback I can remember to ever be in the top 10 of Heisman with more interceptions and touchdown passes.
Okay, maybe you do know who it is.
I didn't win I didn't win battlegrounds for a reason, sir. I know what I do best.
Yeah, you win battlegrounds because you didn't have to face a football question against me. That guy thought Steve Smith ain't a damn Hall of Famer. You should have whooped his ass. Anyways,
listen, like I said, Kyle, it is what it is. Kyle, speaking of things that is what it is, time for our favorite segment of the show. It's called Mount Rushmore. All right, so we're going to me and Kyle and I and Bobby will discuss one topic that is not known to anybody inside actually say it, and we pick our Mount Rushmore, which are our top 4 things that actually go on the Mount Rushmore. Basically, no answer is wrong except for what Bobby says most of the time. All right.
Damn. Ouch.
Bobby's Mount Rushmore is like Notre Dame football in the bowl championship series.
Damn.
It's inaccurate. It's great until you look at it. We compare it to others. Okay. Hey. Listen. Bobby's given me enough crap over the years of the show.
Can you just get the segment started? I don't need any more of this civil warfare, man. Shoot.
I hate you, Cortland. I hate Cortland, by the way. All right. Go ahead, Bobby.
I'm Portland's spirit animal. I'm good, man.
All right, Kyle. Here's with March Madness. One of the things about March Madness is always about being at home. It's watching college basketball all day long and eating different types of snacks. We have talked about snacks on the show, Kyle. But we're going to take things a little bit different, Kyle. So because you don't watch March Madness in some is like binge watching television to others. So since you have binge watched television, I'm pretty sure. And so when you binge watch television, you have snacks involved in it.
There are times.
Yes. So Kyle, with the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, it's like binge watching this TV show for a full day because it's 12 hours of basketball.
Fair comparison.
All right. So Kyle, in 12 hours, we have to devour snacks. So in my case, in Bobby's case, it will be snacks that we watch and eat during March Madness in games like tournament games. Since you're not American, and this your case is binge watching. So what are your Mount Rushmore of NCAA tournament snacks?
First of all, let's be clear about one thing. You can call me un-American all you want, but if I'm in a position where I'm in front of a TV and a game happens to be on, I'll peek at it for a bit. Good God, I'm still a red-blooded American male. Let's not be stupid. Although I will admit, at the same time I'm watching, I'm like, God, this is moving slow. Anyways, best NCAA tournament snacks. Now, keep in mind, folks, the biggest part of this piece here is you need a build-up process. You need something that's going to last, all right? You won't expect deviled eggs to last the entire outing, but it'll be a good start. You're building up to something. First of all, much like with any fare, chicken wings has to make the list, right? I mean, this is a thing. You can have those for breakfast and dinner and lunch if you'd like. I got to definitely have chicken wings on the list as the form of that. Now, I don't know if that fits the snack category. I don't know if we're looking for finger foods or what any of that, but I'm also going to add pizza. Why? Cold pizza's breakfast, lunch, dinner, all there in one. Thank you very much. May the force be with you. Now, I'm assuming you're not including drinks, so I won't put beer.
I am. I'm putting drink.
You are? Well, listen, one of my favorite gifts that my buddy gave me is a remote that has a button, a 4-directional button, kind of like, an old 90s style regular Nintendo controller, 8-bit system, what have you. You know what it's controlling? A rolling cooler with ice and beer. Damn straight. It's on like Donkey Kong. Oh, I need another beer. It rolls to me. I pull it out. My keychain's a beer opener. May the force be with you. Boom. Count it. It's on the list. Now, this last one's going to be a little interesting. I don't know exactly where to go with that. Do we have breakfast fare? Do we round it out with something amazing? Do we get some chips and dips involved? Maybe, maybe not. But what I'll say is this. Salsa and chips are good. They're a staple, but they're boring compared to the concept of Buffalo Ranch chicken chip dip. That's right. Buffalo chicken ranch dip. That's something you have out there. It's going to work for multiple parts of the day. You throw a chip in. May the force be with you. You keep with the damn chicken wing theme. It's a win all the way around. As somebody who's probably the least qualified of the three on the panel, those are my answers. I think the bar is set there. You guys may have better ones. Danny Thompson.
Bobby, what you got, my friend?
All right, since it's the middle of March and it's still a little cold here, even though today and tomorrow are way above normal in Spring Lake, I would have to go with little mini pizza bagels. You got to keep warm.
Nice.
They also make the pizza rolls, but I'll include those with those egg rolls, little mini ones. Yeah, you got to keep warm. It's so cold here. I would say you got to have something that lasts because you really start at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and then you end around midnight, right? After midnight. So you have to have something that's going to last. So a nice hearty 7-bean dip will definitely last that time span. And I'm going to go with a lot of soup. So you can just sit there, drink, eat, whatever while you're watching the games. And it's very portable and not too messy.
Soup.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bobby's going to be full and peeing everywhere. Gotcha. All right. So Bobby makes a great point. One thing about the NCAA tournament, it is 12 hours. So the games normally start at 12 in the afternoon, 12:15, 12:20. And the last game, because the games are scheduled out, depending if it's a game considered in the West bracket or the East bracket, you're looking at a game that probably starts at 12, ends around 12, 12:30. So in my case, I've had the privilege to cover the NCAA tournament live in person in Orlando a couple years ago. So I've actually survived that marathon of being there all day long. So one of the things that I find on the list that should be the first thing for me, because I'm watching basketball all day, is like to Bobby's point of making energy, is a Red Bull. Okay? Because at 10 o'clock, when those last games start, you're looking like Kyle is right now. Okay? You are looking like you're dragging at that point. Hey, 10 hours of basketball is a lot. Okay? A Red Bull, Monster, whatever kind of energy drink you need, you're going to need one right around the mid part to late of the third game, right before you get into the final games. That you're going to need one of those. To you guys' point, listen. And another part is you got to have something that's going to last all day. So if I'm at home all day, one thing nobody did mention, you got to have sweets somewhere in this. Like you got to have some sugar somewhere. For me, it is the small mini donuts, not the white powder ones. Like, just get like the little holes, the donut holes.
Oh, donut holes for the win. Good call, Danny Thompson.
You get donut holes. And the thing is, because you can pop them in as you go, some glazed ones, some jelly-filled ones, whatever you like to eat donut.
You better get some chocolate cake in there. We're going to fight.
I mean, whatever donut holes you like. But the thing is, you can pop them in during the first, second, third game, and they don't really make you feel bad by the time you get to the fourth game, unless you've gone through a couple of boxes. I can't help you at that point. All right, I can't help you at that point. You guys all mentioned, I think this is pretty much a universal agreement to all of us. You got to have some kind of dip in this. Yes. Now, Bobby mentioned a 7-layer bean dip. Kyle, you mentioned a
Buffalo
dip,
chicken.
a buffalo chicken dip. For me, I want more of a nacho queso type of dip.
Fair.
All right. You get some of that in that early part of the game. And then you probably have some right around the 7:00 game, or maybe have some in between the sessions, because the one thing about the NCAA tournament is it's kind of almost nonstop basketball, especially if the games are played in the West Coast, because the first West Coast game doesn't start until right around 2:15, which means the second game starts right around 4:30. For most of us, 4:30 is dinner time and news time for the people in the Eastern time zone. You got games going on then. So I think I said a nacho queso dip is one. You got to have that as well too. So I've already had the drinks. I've already got the soda, the donut holes for snacks. I got my 7-layer beat. My nacho dip is gonna last me all day. And the last one, to the point that Kyle made earlier, you got to have pizza. I mean, it's basketball. It's like watching football. Wings are a great thing, but pizza has got to be there. Get one large pizza. To Bobby's point, you can eat it cold. You can eat it cold. You can warm it up. It can be room temperature. Pizza is pizza. I prefer mine cold. It is what it is. And guess what the best part about it is? Because you've eaten so much other stuff throughout the day, you'll have pizza for the games on the next day. Boom. And the pizza tastes just as good as it did Friday as when it was delivered on Thursday.
Valid point.
So for those are some of the things that we suggest that you get for your NCAA tournament party, because guess what? It's quarantine season, and most of us, except for the state of Texas, will all be at home watching the tournament.
Oh, by the way, I want to take out my soup, and I forgot about this. You mentioned the sweets. Every year when we go to the Garden to cover the Big East tournament, every table has a little bowl full of those, those little mini Hershey's, all different varieties.
Okay. That's always a good takeaway. I remember Orlando's NCAA tournament. All they fed us besides the box lunches was Lay's potato chips and granola bars.
I mean, depending on what kind of granola bars, that ain't terrible.
I mean, it was the ones that come in the green pack. I can't remember. Nature Valley.
Nature Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they gave between the Nature Valley green one and the one that had the peanut butter. That's all we pretty much had. That's pretty much what we had the entire time for 3 days. But Bobby, before we go, any shout outs?
No, like I said, you summed up perfectly to start the show, and I'll leave it at that. And still working on my stuff on my end, so soon.
Kyle, any shout outs before we go?
Hope you've been paying attention to the Student of the Game Twitter account, the SOTG, or the Student of the Game on Facebook, or even the 3-Point Conversion Facebook and Twitter, to check out me interacting with the various coaches of the Gus Malzahn Hair on Fire hiring campaign that took place over the past few weeks. A lot of good stuff there. Check it out.
And big shout outs to everybody who's in the chat. Troll, Cortland. We didn't see Mike DeSantis tonight. Ted Hicks for actually showing up on the show tonight. I'm completely honored by Ted's presence.
Hell yeah.
Marty Joyner from our good friends over at the Intercept Your Lunch show on the I-95 Sports Network, and our and of course, Precious, of course.
Ding!
Rodney this tonight with sour cream onion chips, edibles, and lemon pepper wings and dip. Edibles are about to be good.
Oh, look at him getting the Lou Williams in there. Don't act like we didn't see that.
Cortland, wings, dips, pizza, and beer. Pretty much kind of the same things we have.
Boom! Spirit edible for the win.
So, want to thank everybody for stopping in the show tonight, and also like us, tag, share, and share with all your friends. So we'll be back next Thursday night. Unfortunately, I'll be missing the NCAA tournament because I want to spend my time with Kyle and Bobby covering the show on. Yes, Warm and Fuzzies. The tournament will be on in the background. All right, we'll be on the next Thursday night. Like I said, talking the NCAA tournament. We'll talk March Madness. Get ready and set for that. But we never know. The first week of NFL free agency is always something special, and you never know what happens in sports between now and then. So, for myself, for Bobby, and Kyle, we'll catch you guys next week because I'm headed to the North Carolina press conference as the Tar Heels get to the semifinals as they took care of business against the Virginia Tech Hokies tonight. Final score at the Greensboro Coliseum is actually 80-63 Tar Heels with about 38 seconds, or 80-70 with 38 seconds left in the game. Yeah, right. Virginia Tech's not coming back. Carolina will play Florida State in the semifinals, which will be a road game for Florida State on tomorrow. So for myself, Bobby, and Kyle, we'll catch you guys next week. Stay safe. Please wear a mask. Don't listen to the governor of Texas. Later, guys.